Hey y'all, it's Tina and I'm back with another video. Happy Sunday. I have a word for you guys. Today I wanted to talk about just blessings in the small things and blessings in the small connection God ordains for you when you meet new people or you go to different places. And this is part two, would you say the least, from my last video. And I wanted to talk about how everything God does is super intentional and it plays in this big part of His plan for us. So when you're offered a meeting or a dinner or just a place to go to, like I said before, it is very imperative that you go because there you can see God speak in His words and messages. And I wanted to talk about a dinner that I was actually invited to last week and how it was so imperative for me to go because as soon as I sat down and broke bread with these people, right, who were very knowledgeable, know so many things, I was able to hear people's testimony because sometimes we think testimony is like, oh, who has a testimony from God? Talk about your testimony. And usually, like, people will just talk about like their path in general in life, and that really is the testimony that you have to hear. So we believe in the Word of God by hearing from other people's testimonies, right? So when I was sitting at the dinner, I was just listening to what people had to say and people who are like where I want to be, like very soon talk about like their path and like the different nuances and path. And while I was sitting like eating dinner, I'm hearing literally like a whole similar story between like the different paths that she wanted to take, like in like her career, and just how like it was so similar to like what I was currently doing or in the path to do. And I was really looking at like, as soon, it's also, she sometimes spirits know like what's happening. So as she was talking, I was really looking at her like, wow, like that's pretty amazing. And she was looking at me like, yeah, I actually get you too. And granted, these are people that I so want to be like in the future. And it was so imperative because for her to like say all these things, it's not even a testimony. It was necessarily like, because not everyone considers themselves a believer or talks about God. Sometimes it's just in like the things that they're doing day to day. So as she was talking, I was looking at her, I was like, life is so intentional. Because from her to come from this path in terms of like just something similar to do, and for her to end up where she is now, and she had literally has been blessed by God from because of it. And it was just so imperative to be present at the dinner. So that's why, like, no matter what you're going to, let's say you have certain obstacles that you have to get through that day, whereas like, I don't know, your flight got canceled or your flight got delayed. Sometimes it is a sign, so I'll real pray. It's always good to follow up with that airline and be like, okay, well, do you have another flight? Now if there's no other flight, okay, then maybe God really didn't want you to go. But if there is if there is still a way for you to go and it's been provided for, still go, because you do not know what the Lord is doing in these like instances that is happening. Like, I literally, when I went to Philly, I met like someone who I met previously who is from Philly during the same time frame that I was going to the retreat, and I just happened to mention like, hey, I'm going to Philly, and they're like, what? Like, that's so rare for you to be like somewhere else and then now you're just going to Philly when we just met, right? So there's always like these different nuances that God needs for you to do in order for Him to like curate the next step. And it's very imperative that you go to these like whatever it is that Lord has put on your heart to go, that you've been invited to. Like, if you've been invited to enrich, really pray about that invitation and really put it in your heart to pray about it and see what to do next. And the Lord will provide for you if that is the next step for you to go on. But I am so glad, like, and then that dinner came from, me just paying attention from my emails, meeting one person and, going to the next, right, for a program. So I think it's very imperative that we really, um, every time, like, there's an invitation, there's a door opening, like, or someone is saying something that God told you to do, like, in the same time frame, it means do that thing. It's a confirmation for you to do that thing, for you to go to that thing. I literally also had like a friend also let me know about something that she had to do, and it was so imperative for me to hear that, because then it just confirms like what my next text was from God, right? Because these are not things that happen all the time. These are just happening, with the way we're moving in life, right? So that's why I say it's very imperative. Like, if you've been invited to something, ask the Lord, is this invitation from you? Like, what doors do you want to open for me to gain strength, gain wisdom, and for me to make it to the next step of your plan. So it's very imperative that you listen, and that you continue going strong, and you don't let the obstacles of the day, whether it be, you're going through, okay, like ended up getting there later, or, whatever it was for that obstacle for that day. Some people, they have to, like, I don't know, reschedule or do something. Like, don't let that affect like what you have to get done for that day. So that is my message for today. It is really in the little things. Please invite yourself when the Lord invites you, and don't hold back, and the Lord will bless you where you're supposed to be. So that's my message, and happy Sunday.